As if I had been standing at the foot of Mount Sinai itself, I stood shaking before the TSA agents at JFK. I suddenly realized traveling internationally with a Torah was going to be one of the biggest honors and one of the biggest responsibilities of my life. Moments before, I spoke with a kind American Airlines employee at the check-in desk. I explained that I was so nervous, I had already made a call the night before, asking a customer service representative to make notes in my reservation, indicating that I would be transporting a fragile and precious religious object. He confirmed that he could see the notes, got me all checked in, and offered to personally escort me to the TSA checkpoint because, and I quote, he knew the TSA agents were going to try and stop me from getting through with such a large item. Oh boy, I thought to myself, this might be a more challenging travel experience than I anticipated. I truly had no idea what was in store. I put the Torah case on the conveyor belt to be x-rayed, and I watched as 4 TSA agents crowded around the screen, unsure of what they were seeing. I offered to answer any questions they might have about my bag, and I was met with a raised arm and a, "Ma'am, please remain over there as we inspect your luggage." Feeling my blood pressure rising, I squeaked out an "okay" and remained quiet as they decided what to do next. They brought the Torah to the inspection table, and they told me they were going to open the case. They instructed me not to move my hands or to reach into the bag. One agent asked me if there was anything dangerous or sharp inside. I responded, "There's nothing dangerous, and there's nothing that's intended to be sharp. There is, however, a rather large metal reading tool that could potentially be sharp if you hit your hand hard enough against it." The TSA agent looked at me, and I looked back at her, waiting to see if I was going to be sent off to the equivalent of TSA jail. Finally, like an angel sent from on high, the TSA supervisor said aloud, "Reading tool? Is this a Torah?" "Yes," I exclaimed. And after a quick swab of the inside of the case to check for explosives, they sent me on my way, my heart racing and my hands trembling. At the gate, I had my fingers and toes crossed, praying that I would be able to easily fit the Torah onto the extra seat I purchased for it. As I boarded the plane, I rolled the Torah down the aisle, the case barely fitting between the seats, until I reached row 31. As I looked at our seats and the piddly amount of space for a person's legs, let alone an oversized Torah case, I began to panic. I glanced at the flight attendant, who could see the pleading look on my face. "How valuable is this object?" she asked. No, you don't understand," I said. "This is a priceless, irreplaceable religious scroll. It was rescued from the Holocaust." Those seemed to be magic words, and because it wasn't a full flight, she was able to help me lay the Torah over 3 consecutive seats, strapped in securely with seatbelt expanders. Phew. Arriving in London the next morning felt like landing on holy ground, having made it through a rather unnerving travel experience. This Shabbat's Torah portion, Parashat Pekudei, is the last in a series of 5 parshiot describing the building of the Mishkan, the Israelites' tabernacle or portable sanctuary. The Torah goes into great detail about the measurements of this holy space, what materials are needed, and how donations should be given by those whose hearts and spirits are moved. I'm sure Moses felt an immense sense of responsibility to ensure that this project was completed fully and properly according to all of God's meticulous instructions, particularly after the golden calf incident. And while I am certainly no Moses, I think I felt a kindred sense of responsibility in ensuring our Torah's journey could be completed with no major snafus, preserving the scroll's honor and holiness the best I could. One of my first stops upon my arrival in London was the Westminster Synagogue, where I left our Shoah scroll for safekeeping over the weekend. I was greeted warmly by employees and volunteers of the Czech Memorial Scrolls Trust and Museum that is housed inside the synagogue. They each expressed so much gratitude that our community, based in the United States, would dedicate so much time, effort, and financial resources, the gifts of our hearts, in order to attend this special event across the pond. The ceremony was a milestone anniversary commemoration. 60 years prior, almost to the day, more than 1,500 Czech Torah scrolls arrived in London to be preserved, repaired, and eventually, for the ones in good enough condition, disseminated to Jewish communities around the world. The folks at the museum told me a story. Soon after the scroll's arrival in London, a sofer, a scribe, saw the synagogue's name on a sign outside the building and decided to knock. He spoke in Yiddish to a woman inside and asked if they might have any Torahs that he could repair. If he only knew just how many they had. This scribe went on to dedicate many years of his life to working on these special Czech scrolls. As I heard more about the scroll's history, I learned that no one really knows how these scrolls survived the Holocaust. For whatever reason, the Nazis left them alone at the Museum of Jewish Heritage in Prague. Some believe that the Nazis planned to make Prague the post-war center of the Reich and the location of their museum dedicated to the extinct Jewish race. And they therefore kept the scrolls intact, perhaps as a future exhibit of sorts. Others believe that Jewish communities further east in Europe sent their precious religious objects west to Prague in an effort to save them from destruction at the hands of the Nazis. They hoped these Torahs would be preserved until after the war. Of course, far too many Jews perished during the Shoah, and the ones who did survive largely fled the Czech Republic, leaving many of these scrolls unused and without a home. The folks at Westminster Synagogue and the Czech Memorial Scrolls Trust have done an enormous mitzvah by redeeming these Torah scrolls from such a tragic era of our people's history and helping them enjoy a second life, now bringing meaning to thriving Jewish communities all over the world, just like ours. It was at the ceremony that Sunday afternoon that I felt the true intention of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary. More than 60 of these Czech scrolls had returned for a sacred reunion, bringing people from around the world together in a temporary yet holy community. Those of us who were present in body or via live stream that day certainly strengthened one another through our shared history and our shared story, our Torah, the beating heart of our people. As I began my journey home, I understood that we are connected no matter where we are on the globe, that our collective Mishkan continues to exist despite physical distance. These Torah scrolls connect our people to our values, our stories, and to one another. Parashat Pekudei is the last Torah portion in the book of redemption, the book of Exodus. Each time we reach the end of a book of Torah, we say, Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and we shall be strengthened. Despite an equally, if not more, stressful airport experience on the way home, the flight was packed, and an Angel British Airways employee got me all 4 middle seats while the other people on the plane sat like sardines. I somehow knew that it would all work out. It was like the Torah was my good luck charm, my own portable connection to the holy. That in its presence and through the connection it provided me to our people around the world, I would be strong, stronger and braver than I ever thought I could be. Shabbat Shalom. Chazak, chazak, v'nitchazek.